Hi, I'm Bernard Sterling. Today I want to talk a little bit about training by yourself. Uh, I live in a very small group with a limited number of fighters, so it's not unusual that I don't get to fight on any given week. And often it can be a month or two between fighting sessions or before an event that I'm going to. So it's on my mind a lot to think about what I can do to keep myself in training, to improve my skills, to achieve the things I want to achieve with my fighting by myself. There's a few things. Fitness is a big one. One of the things I try to do is to exercise regularly. I find for two reasons. Firstly, overall fitness means stamina wise, I can stay on the field for longer, which means I get more out of it when I am fighting. Um, I feel like I can perform to my capability, and also I can make the most of the opportunities that I have when I'm there with other people. The second thing is just flexibility. I find when I'm exercising regularly, my knees hurt less. I can move with a bigger range of movement that allows me to do more and achieve more and learn more. And that's obviously something that you can do by yourself. I'm on lockdown at the moment, so not supposed to interact with anyone. So I'm doing a lot of walking around the hills where I live and exercises like squats, push ups, things that I can do with the gear I've got at home. One of the things this has really suggested to me is that I might want to get some more stuff to have at home just in case this recurs. They're saying at the moment we might go back into lockdown later on, so I'm looking at getting some weights and things like that that I can use that I would normally use at the gym. The second thing I do a lot of is looking at YouTube videos, my own fighting videos, things I filmed myself or things other people have filmed of me fighting, and other people. And there's a whole nother discussion there in terms of analysis, um, which I won't go into today, but I might make another video about. But one of the big things that I try and do with that analysis is take that to my pal work. And that's really the third thing, obviously, that you can do when you're training by yourself is work on the PAL. Got one behind me. Um, and there's a number of things that you can do in terms of useful PAL work by yourself. The first of these is obviously the basic steps, building muscle memory for basic shots. So your snaps, your wraps, your offsides, whatever it is that you want to work on. Um, and being a little bit thoughtful when you are fighting and going, oh, my offside's a bit weak. Okay, that's something to work on. And that's something that I find comes back. So you might spend a lot of time working on things, then you might not have used it for a while. You might realize that you need some more work on it. Pal work can help with that. But that's not just necessarily simple things like basic blow and muscle memory for basic blows. It can be precision for blows. One of the things that I'm working on at the moment is not just can I hit you in the leg, but can I hit you exactly where I want to hit you in the leg? And that's often when it's the third or fourth blow in a combination, not just boom, I'm going to hit you in the leg, but once I've thrown two or three shots, can I hit you in the leg exactly where I want to? Because I find that's where my precision tends to suffer. So that's something to work on. Another big thing I tend to work on is transitions. Okay, I've gone over here, I've thrown the offside roll, now where am I going? Can I throw something up here? Can I throw something down here? And how do I move from here through to here in a way that's comfortable, natural, is smooth flow so I don't rob myself of any of my force, doesn't get myself tangled up, doesn't expose me to my opponent. I find, and this is a function, I guess, of how my brain works, is that it's useful to think of an opponent when I'm doing PAL work. So there's a drill that I got taught many years ago that you do with someone else, where one person takes a basic defensive stance, the other person goes, okay, very slowly, where are your openings? What can I see? I throw to there. Then the other person goes, okay, you've done that, you've paused. Now I'm going to look at you. We're going to be both talking this through, so it's a useful learning exercise. I can see that you're open there, so I'm going to step a little this way. I'm going to throw this. And then they throw the shot and block, and then you go, okay, what could I do about that? And it's a back and forward exercise. I find it's a very useful one, possibly just in terms of how to force you into that kind of analytical space where you're not only thinking about things but you're thinking about what's the most efficient way to do it, how I do it in a way that doesn't open myself up to attack, because often there's 2 or 3 ways to hit someone. I like to look for the way that is efficient and that exposes me the minimum, so that I can move. If I'm throwing a shot, instead of throwing this, I'm going to throw this, so that I'm a little bit protected while I'm doing it. And doing that sort of training exercise with someone allows you to do it over, to repeat the same exercise 2 or 3 times. This, no, that doesn't feel comfortable. This, no, okay, this is my blow. You can do the same thing with a pal with no one else there, by thinking about how you'd respond. Okay, I see an opponent in stance, I do this. Now put myself in their shoes. What are they going to see of me? You can use that as a tool to adjust both what you've done in terms of your first shot. Oh, okay, actually, if I'm the other guy, I can see I'm exposed there. What else would be useful for me to throw that would have actually not done that? Then you put yourself in the other person's position. Okay, Richard's in this, Bernard's in this position, he's done that. What would I do as the opponent? Cool, okay, they're going to do this. Okay, back to me. What am I going to do about what they're doing? And back and forward. So it's the same exercise, except that you're just doing it with yourself. And I find that that's more useful for me than just whacking the pal a lot. Sometimes I think about it as a specific opponent. So I might think, what would Sir Roland do in this situation? What would Ratbot do in this situation? What would Madeline do in this situation? Because that can help you slip into different mindsets in terms of thinking about what someone might do, and can help you think about how they might react differently, and it gives you a bit more, I guess, personality to your mental exercise. You can also do, and some of the value in doing this is in not just going, okay, their shot, what's my shot, what's their shot, what's my shot, but in refining that. So going and doing it with an actual sword in your hand against a pal, so you can see what it feels like, and going, that's not just a mental exercise, that's a physical movement. Okay, no, that's feeling ugly, it's hurting my wrist, what are other options? So you're actually running through it in real time, and feeling what the physical effects are on your body and on your movement. One of the tools I've been using is Sir Roland's flexible sword. He's done videos about that, and I find that's quite useful for me. You do have to go, you can't just go super slow with it, because otherwise it doesn't move, but what it really teaches you in a really physical way that gives you immediate feedback is, that movement is nice and smooth and delivers power. That movement is wobbly, it's all over the place, I'm going to hurt my joints, it's going to put additional tension on my joints, it's going to lose power, I may not be able to hit good. And that's the advantage of using things like a pal, is that when you've got your thing down, your shot down, and when you've got your movement down, you can throw it at full force and see what it feels like, and see if you're going to be able to throw it or if it's rubbish. So that's that kind of drill that I do as part of a pal work exercise, and I find that's quite useful. The other thing that I like to do with a pal work, and this is again in the thinking about other fighters space, is to look at my own fights or to look at fights other people have done. I often do this with crown tournaments from other kingdoms, or our kingdom for that matter, is to look at the fight and go, what happened there? What went on from A? What went on from B? How did that end? Almost always you can look at a fight and go, A could have done something a bit different and would have avoided that outcome, or B could have done something a bit different and avoided that outcome. So there's an analytical process that you can do there, but you can translate that into a physical exercise that can teach you stuff about movement and also refine your analysis. If you go, well, A did this, but I would have done that, you can actually go out there, imagine that B is in front of you as the pal, throw the move that you've analysed and go, okay, from where they were, I can pull it up on my iPad, I can look at the video so I can recreate it. From what they did, actually, is my theory right? Does that move work? Does that feel comfortable? And you can play it out. And that can be another really useful way of not just smacking the pal for repetition, but using it as an intelligent, thoughtful exercise that helps you heighten your analytical skills, but also take that, translate it into real action, and expand your repertoire. Obviously, you're going to need to translate these exercises through to actual fighting with actual people. It's great to be the theoretical master of all you survey, but that's got to translate through to actual fights with actual people at the end of the day. But in the times where you can't fight with someone else, it's a way of thinking about things. It's a way of improving your precision, improving your flow, improving your transition, putting more things in your head about, if I am in a position, how can I translate it safely through to an attack or a riposte? Or do I have a solution in my head for this kind of problem? And all of that stuff is just building your repertoire, building your library of responses, thoughts, maneuvers, and so on, so that when you are in a position to be able to do some fighting with another person, you can use those things or try those things rather than sort of figuring them out on the spot. I find it helpful for me. I find it helpful both in terms of keeping my brain thinking about fighting, keeping me engaged, keeping me interested, and giving me things to do and things to try and refine when I have the opportunity to fight with other people. Hopefully that's of help to someone. This is stuff that we can work on in the next few weeks and months, which it may be a while before any of us get to fight with real people or get to events where we can do any real fighting. So this is stuff people can work on at home, and thought processes that you can engage in to still advance your fighting when you're by yourself.